This is the post-game press conference from today's Battle of the Bay football game between Norfolk State and Hampton. We're joined by Norfolk State football coach Coach Odums, as well as student athletes J.J. Davis and Marquise Hall. As usual, we'll open it up with an opening statement from Coach.
That's a tough pill to swallow, but it's tough. I thought we had really good game plans, and we executed. It's just that we knew that we was gonna have to run the ball because of the defense that they play. They play all their DBs back off, and when you can't run the ball, it's gonna be hard to throw the ball because they got so much room and depth. And we just wasn't able to have the kind of running success that we thought we were gonna be able to have, and that led to, a slugfest. I thought it was a defensive ball game. A couple plays here and there. I thought our defense, they bowled up. At times, they stopped them and gave the ball right back to the offense, and we just weren't able to muster any kind of success. We had the one drive where we scored, and then they made some adjustments, and we just weren't able to put the ball in the end zone. But I thought our effort was superb. I thought it was a winning effort, but we just didn't have the execution that we needed to win this football game, and it's disappointing for these guys. I know the amount of time and work that they're putting into it, coaches, players, it's just not paying off right now. And we're at home again next week, and we're going to see if we can try to do some things and figure this thing out, because it's very disappointing, to be 0-3. But like I told them, we get another 60 minutes next week. Let's see what kind of game plans we can come up with and play a little bit better next week.
Coach, the first 2 weeks are obviously tough for everybody, but particularly on the defense. But I thought today the defense played inspired football. You could see the emotion in them. Can you just talk about what led to their success today?
Well, we know that you challenge them. You got to improve. You got to get better. And I thought this was a game to really kind of see where we are as a football program and what we can do going forward to really, really help ourselves to become a better football team and to somehow taste victory. Nobody's going to give you a W. You're going to have to play better. The penalty battle, we had 9 penalties, and, they had 5. Ours were for 65 yards. Theirs for 40. That's 25 yards in a football game that you get, and you only have to make a play to get. And that's what happens in these games. If you don't win that battle, it leads to extra possessions or take possessions away from you. And I think it's a lot we can learn from this film that we hadn't been able to learn from the previous 2 films. And that's just the way the schedule is. So hopefully next week you just get a chance to see, again, a competitive spirit from our football team, but better execution. And we're going to look at the whole thing, what we can do to really get these guys in position to be successful.
Marquise, a similar question from a player's perspective. You guys took so many licks the first 2 weeks, but you guys came out and played great. What did you guys talk about as players to try to revamp your season?
Just understanding that we have to execute across the board. We took a bad loss out there, and it's a terrible taste in our mouth right now, but we just have to continue to get better each and every day this upcoming weekend, focused on our next opponent.
Coach, specifically for defense, I thought you guys did a really good job on Jadakiss, their top wide receiver. Besides the hitch and go, we kind of got you guys on the touchdown. He was kind of very much limited. So what did you guys want to do against him?
Well, our biggest thing is stopping the run. And I really believe that as a coach. If you can run the ball offensively, you can win. And if you can stop the run on defensively, you give yourself a chance to win. And that, to me, is always the calling card. And both teams struggled running the ball today. And it led to who's going to make a big play in the passing game. Right after the half, they made a big play. And, that was really the difference in the ball game. And we had the ball several times with the short field in the second half. And we were even down there in the red zone, and we just weren't able to get any points. And it's going to be that kind of football game. Field goals won't go in it, and you got to get points. You got to get touchdowns, and we didn't do that.
For you, JJ, like Coach said, it was tough go running the ball, and despite whatever else thinks, I know you have high expectations for yourself, especially for this season. So, what's been the start like for you in trying to figure out the success of the run game?
Honestly, nothing has really changed as far as my mentality. I still trust my offensive line the same way I did before the first game. I think it's a work in progress as far as everybody just coming together, because like last year I had 4 or 5 guys that played together 2 years before I even got here. So I think it's just learn how to cohort with one another. But I haven't lost any faith as far as my success or the success of the team as far as running the ball.
Coach, obviously you still have plenty of faith in JJ. That hasn't really wavered. So do you think this was more of a schematic kind of thing? Do you think it was more of just the O-line wasn't getting enough push as you would like? What kind of do you see as kind of the solution here?
I don't know. I gotta watch the film and see if it was more so us not doing what we're supposed to, or them, doing what they're supposed to. So I really won't know until I watch the film. But just from looking at it, it's just looked like some stuff was there. But you got to block. I mean, guys got to win their one-on-one, and that's all this game is about. Is guys winning their one-on-one. And on that front line, it's not a group that's played together. And I think from this game, though, we'll be able to draw some parallels to what we can do better. And that's the biggest thing, is figuring out what we can do better.
And obviously, like you said, the DBs played off, so you wanted to get the run going. But also, you could see that game plan with the passing game where you wanted to get the quick, short passes by the numbers. Just kind of, can you talk about what you wanted to do with Otto and then later on to Jalen?
I think they had the same game plan. I think they gave us some opportunities. We had some bubbles where we could get 5-6 yards and be ahead on the sticks. Then you get a false start. You get a chance where you got a bubble there, then you get a drop. So all those things lead to a tough day, and they start adding up, especially when the game is on the line. We hadn't been able to generate enough explosive plays, but their defense don't give a whole lot of explosive plays. They keep the ball in front of them. That's why going in with a game plan to run the ball, you look at their stats, they giving up a lot of running yards, and we thought we could capitalize on that, and don't look like we did a very good job of it from the way the stats look.
Marquise, I think everybody is the fastest to point to the flaws in somebody's game, but are there any, whether it's the turnovers that you guys generated with the interceptions, but is there anything good that you found that can give you guys a little bit of confidence on D?
The turnovers were really good. That's a positive thing to see out there. And just continue to execute, and that's really our biggest thing on the defense, is stopping the run, like Coach said. They didn't have many rushing yards, still too many. So just continue to get better. We just got to execute.
And similar, JJ, obviously, like I said about the defense, but I think the whole team just was a lot more inspired, especially in that first half. You guys showed that you had adapted to the speed of the game, especially playing FBS people. But what can you say about the motivation that you guys had coming in today, and how pleased you were with that?
I think it was more of we all have pride. We're all grown men, and we want to be the best we can be every game. So I feel like the guys felt like we didn't show our best show in the last 2 weeks. So we want to come out here and give out the best possible outcome we could. I feel like the effort was there the whole game. So I don't think it's an effort thing. I think it's just a few things we need to sew up, and we'll be fine.
Coach, I want to ask on quite a few of the third and longs you guys opted to run. Were you trying to play a game more field position, or were you kind of concerned of any turnovers that might happen in the passing game?
Well, I don't think neither team probably did well in third and long. It's a tough down and distance because people are going to make you throw it short of the sticks, and you just can't force the football. So you put your best play out there, and whether it's conservative or not, you play field position, you punt, and you play defense. I think when you look at it, both teams were realizing that probably after about the second possession that this was probably going to be a defensive football game. And whichever defense didn't make the mistake was going to probably put the team in position to win. And that's what happens. We came out in the second half. They hit us on the slant. It's 14-7, but we had the ball 3 times, I think, inside the plus territory, and we come away with no points. So that makes it tough. But to be able to go back out there and get the ball, I think it's confidence for the defense. And now we got to figure out offensively what we can do to generate some points. I mean, it's tough. It's tough when you don't get in the end zone, and we got to figure out how to do that.
Marquise, I wanted to get your perspective on something, because both teams kind of have this QB rotation, but as a defensive player, when you're preparing for Hampton, who's used 3 different quarterbacks, is that something you guys have to scout all 3? Like, do you just do your own thing? Like, how does it work for you as a defensive player?
Everything is just based off the film that they show and that we watch. So just every day, just understanding what quarterback is in the game, what do we expect when they're in the game. And like I said, the main thing is just stopping that run.
And JJ, I want to ask your thoughts on Hampton's defense. What do you see as their kind of strengths and what led them to be successful?
They fly around. They're not the biggest guys as far as their backers and their DBs, but they play that soft coverage and soft defense, but they all fly to the ball. So they definitely tackle the team.
Coach, obviously, chop wood, carry water is the mantra until the end of times. So when you're 0-3 as coaches, what do you have? what are the kind of challenges of telling the guys, just keep at it. The results are going to come.
Well, I think it's more to it than keep at it. I think you reevaluate and you look at, are you putting them in position to make plays and they not making them? Where are we weak at? What's our strengths? And we try to get our weaknesses stronger and we try to play to our strengths and just trying to figure out where you at as a football team, because you're not able to do that with the first 2 games. I mean, you're just not able to evaluate and look at what you have. Now, this game right here, it gave us a lot of stuff that we can look at. And we can go forward and say, okay, this worked, this doesn't, this guy played, this guy doesn't. And we can make some decisions about what we want to do as a football team going forward. It's not the end of it, but you don't ever want to be 0-3. But we got a lot of new faces, a lot of young faces. So it's tough sledding right now, but it's not because of our competitive nature. We're going to figure it out, and we got another opportunity Saturday to do that.
And then start of the fourth quarter, you switched to Jalen. What kind of went into that decision?
Well, just inconsistency. Some stuff was there. We didn't make right reads, and this offense is quarterback based, and we have to figure out which guy's going to give us the best opportunity to be successful, and other guys around got to step their games up. So it takes everybody. That's why it's called football. It's not an individual sport, and we go figure out what guys on the team can help us, put them in position to do that, and let's go play football. It's not the end of it, but we're a long way away from where we want to be. But we got time, and we're going to regroup this week and see if we can just get a little bit better and help these guys out. I think I got to do a better job as a coach and figuring out some things that I can do to help these guys and put them in better position. So it's going to take all of us. I think we're going to all look in the mirror and realize that this hurts, and we don't want to feel like this again. What are we all willing to sacrifice and do to be better?
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.